Hey everybody, how are you? I hope you've had a wonderful week. If I have been absent from Star Citizen for the past 2 weeks, which I have, it's because I've been here in New World. Now, I was excited to get in. This is the beta test. It has been ongoing for 2 weeks. It ends tomorrow. I was very excited to get in there because this runs on Lumberyard. The same thing Squadron 42 and Star Citizen is running on. So I was very curious to see how they handle a lot of people in the same area. No loading screens between different regions. Obviously, if you've played Star Citizen, you are aware of how that works. And basically, here's half an hour of some gameplay. Now, I don't think I'm going to play the entire half hour. I'm probably going to edit this down. But I gotta say, before we get into this, I've read the criticism. I looked at all the comments and complaints about PvP, about the game, about the combat mechanics may not be the best. And I'll confess, in light of all the negativity that might exist on the forums, which they do, I had a great time in New World. But without any further ado, let me dive into this and give you some commentary as I go through the game itself. I'm simply going to talk about what you're seeing on the screen, basically game mechanics. If you've played the game already, you're not going to learn anything new from this video. This video is more targeted towards people who have not played the game. I'm going to give you my thoughts and feelings as we roll. So let's begin that, and here we go. So there we see Lumberyard and Amazon Games. This is the first MMO, I believe, coming out of Amazon Games. And to begin with, I guess we choose the server. So here we go. Now this is the screen where you begin. You can see the fancy armor I have. Let me just pause here for 1 second. We chose US West Coast. It's where I and a couple of members happen to be. But when this game kicks off, we will most likely be choosing US East Coast as the server we are on. Now, you are server locked with your character. Once you choose a character, you will be locked there and you will not be able to move. You'll have to create new characters if you do want to move. So having a bunch of us all play together, now we are a very international guild. We needed European, East Coast and West Coast. Sorry, Australia, we didn't forget about you, but come on, really? So most likely I think we'll choose the US East Coast when we do get this game rolling. But there you can see the relative pings. And as I said, we were on US West Coast on Crone as our server, which performed very well. We had very few issues. Maybe a couple of members out of Europe had a more of a ping or a lag, but manageable. So you click play and off we go. As you can see, it's my level 35 character. That's where I ended off. I didn't go much further than that. The playtest had ended, well, is ending. All right, we've loaded in. Here is my character. Let me just pause here very quickly. Pretty much your standard MMO. Now, as I click play, you will note that the sky's going to turn black. I just happened to spawn right on top of a corruption zone. Now, this is PvE content. Corruption zones are these areas which pop up and you have to fight a couple of waves of enemies. Then you close this rift and you get a whole bunch of points, XP, faction points, all those things which lead you to level up. So here we go. And it was purely coincidence that happened. I'm glad that happened because you get to see it right away from the get-go. So this is a corruption zone, which is where the PvE happens. Quickly showing you what I am running there. There's different weapons. There's a straight sword, a hatchet, a warhammer, fire staff, life staff, bow, and musket. Most of them pretty self-explanatory. A life staff, you can heal yourself. There's some little perks like running faster. I myself focused on the hatchet. But I did enjoy the warhammer. It just was a bit slow for my taste. But let's move forward. Oh, sorry, take it back a bit. I just want to show you the perk tree under the hatchet. So you have these perk trees. Now you can choose the berserker perk or the throwing perk. I chose throwing, but I mixed it in with a bit of a berserk perk. You get to mix and match these. I only figured this out very late in the game. So keep that in mind when you do get in. You can mix and match either side of these trees as you wish, and you put them into your ability section right over there. Let us continue. So first, a power throw at the wolf takes it out. Now keep in mind, I am level 35. This particular zone is a level 25, but there's still recommend 2 or 3 players in there to get it done. I can pretty much solo this myself, so I didn't wait for anyone. I just went ahead and did it. There we see one guy who's down. He just died, but he'll be making his way back shortly. So what you basically do is hack away at the enemies. There'll be a couple of different waves. Let's just fast forward to when you actually go and close up that portal. And some other players have joined in now. Here comes the final wave. It's about to kick off in a second. There it is. I guess that's kind of a final boss. Not a really aggressive one. It's pretty easy to take down. Quite a big hitbox on it. And once that goes down, what you can do now is approach the portal. Press E once you have this little thing. It's called Corruption's Bane. And you close up this portal. It shuts down. Bang! Off you get your coin and your standing and your faction points and everything you need to level up. So that's basically the corruption zones in a nutshell. I'm just going to take a walk to the ledge over here. Just showing you some of the scenery. Here's the big Warhammer. I'm a big fan of this weapon here. Just a bit slow. Here's the tree for it, as you can see. There's the Juggernaut perk and a whole Crowd Crusher perk. Mix and match as you wish to suit your game style. I hope they fine-tune the hammer a little bit. It was kind of slow to work with. You need to have a lot of heavy armor to be able to absorb the hits from an enemy. But otherwise, the hatchet and the hammer were my favorite weapons in this playtest. There are new weapons which will be released on game release. Noticeably missing were the double-headed axe, two-handed axe, which you see sometimes, and a spear. Here I'm showing you the life staff. Speed of light lets you kind of run forward very fast, or blink. I've maxed that, and a little bit of healing pulse so I can heal myself. So I press Q, you do that, and that gives you a little health buff there. For the next 10 seconds or 9 seconds that shows below, my health will be increasing. Very easy to understand, very easy to get into. Within the first 30 seconds of playing this game, you'll know exactly what to do. The keyboard layout is intuitive. If you've played any MMO before, immediately as you get in, you'll know exactly what to do. I'm going to make my way now to one of the closest settlements. Let's first slam this wolf over here. Boom! Take that. So satisfying. Once you get leveled up, those wolves at lower levels, I mean they're not bad, but it's just a pleasure whacking them with a hammer and just killing them with one swipe. Very satisfying. But let's make the way to one of the closest settlements here, and I'll show you around some more of them. But first, let's get this guy. There we go. Thank you. Oh, you may want to pull. There's meat and hide and things you can pull off those. Also the boulders. Everything's harvestable. Well, most things are harvestable. Not that, but as you go around, you see the little dots which indicate like the bush will give you wood. A wolf will give you meat and hide. Hide is used to craft things like armor. Here, I'm going to harvest this wolf. Let's just see what we get out of it. Some red meat and rawhide. You don't want to collect... Yeah, that red meat's pretty important. You make your healing meals with it. Green fungus, because I don't know. I never actually got into the green fungus. I think it's pigment or something to add color to your clothes or something. Oh, here's an iron vein, and obviously you mine that, and guess what happens? Your mining skills increase, and you also get iron ore. So you see my mining skills up to 58, and I got a whole bunch of iron ore. You also get a whole bunch of gems, which randomly drop from these. These gems can go into your weapons to give them extra perks. That's the story behind that. So more iron ore and mining is increased. If you'll note there, let me just pause for a second. Note on the hatchet, I've got a red gem that gives a perk to strength. So my swing with a hatchet is improved if I add that gem to it. And the gem you find from doing exactly what I did over there. Pretty much as you'd expect to work. Again, oh, by the way, that is a minor breach cache. That's the reward you get for the corruption zone we just did. I opened it up and it gave me some pants, but the pants I'm wearing at the moment are of a higher tier. They're 350. These ones are 306. I'm going to simply salvage those, which will break it down to components right there, which I can use for other stuff. So here we are making our way into the nearest settlement. It's called Windword Hamlet, and that's just me using the life staff to bang myself into the wall purely by accident. No, actually, I wanted to show you that. That was completely planned. And look, it's pretty. I wouldn't say it's the best graphics I've ever seen in any game, but no, it holds up well. I'm running a 1080 Ti, 16 gigs of RAM, and I had no problems. Now, I did see people complaining with much larger cards, we're talking 2080 Ti's, saying they had stuttering in some zones. I understand some people may have had problems, but me personally, I had zero problems at all with my system, and everything ran perfectly smooth. So there's showing there's a quest over there I can attain. But let's take a walk down this settlement so you can take a look at it. As you'd expect, that'd be what do you expect to find? There's a well on the right there. That's where you can get water as resources. Do I turn around? Yes, go take a look at that. So there we can pull up some water, and if you collect some herbs and water, you go to the one area over here. You can make yourself some healing potions. That's a faction guy on the right of the screen over there. Oh, look at this guy with the yellow outfit and interesting fashion choices there. I mean, the fashion choices are limited, but I mean, people get creative with the color schemes. And obviously, yellow is great. That is beautiful. I think this individual named Nev did a wonderful job. Level 60. Oh my God, this guy has no life. Oh, and there's some weapons which are not available in the game yet. So there's a pole arm, and on the other side there was an axe, but those weapons are not in the game yet. So the Arcane Repository, as you can see, with the water and some herbs here, I can make some healing potions, which obviously self-explanatory. All different kind of potions you can make here. Will I make some? Yes. So I'm going to make 2. I've got herbs, I've got water from the well, I've got life motes from I don't know where. I think from some plant you harvest, and there it goes and makes my healing potions, which I can then assign into slot number 4 or 5 on my keypad, which you just, there we go. And you can just simply use as needed when in battle. Again, very self-explanatory. There's a store over here where people can buy and sell. I'm not sure how the economy is going to work exactly, but basically if you found something or a weapon dropped you don't want, you can put up for sale over here. The most expensive thing is up with 8,000 gold. It's not bad. There's some pretty decent hatchets there. You can see the one I have is 327 gear score. This one is 480 gear score. It does pretty good damage, but 7,000 gold is beyond my means at the moment. But these are weapons that people have either crafted or I found and have put up for sale. There's a that's a nice hammer, 600 gear score, not bad. I'll go for that next time we get a playtest. But that's basically the idea behind the economy. You can put up either the resources or armor or weapons or whatever you've made. If you make something that's interesting, you can put up for sale. So you can essentially spend the entire game making things. Every once in a while when you make something, you may get an epic item out of it. Put up for sale, make a lot of money. I'm not sure what you're going to do with a lot of money, because once you've used your money to buy everything you need, and including a house and furnishings, we'll have to see. We didn't get much end game content, as you can imagine. It's only been 2 weeks long. Let's go take a look at the outfitting station. So there's some outfits that you can make. A hat, shirt, gloves, yeah, pants, shoes, a different hat, as you can see, and different tiers. The more you work at crafting something, the better you get. So armoring level 5 only lets me make the low tier ones. As you do more of it, you need more materials, more hard to find materials, and that will allow you to craft more and more stat heavy, better stats on materials. This is where you make linen. To get linen, you have to find hemp. You'll find hemp lying around the place. You get that. Here we go. Maybe we killed the wolf, remember? We got some raw hide. The raw hide we can turn into coarse leather. Coarse leather in turn is used to manufacture armor and other items. And the more you do it, the better you get at it and the higher quality items you can make. That's the wood station over here. You chop down trees. You eat your lunch. You go to the lava tree. on Wednesdays you go shopping and have buttered scones for tea. And timber is used again, needing weapons. Oh, to make arrows, for example. And once you get more into PvP, you'll need that to reinforce forts and things. I never got much into PvP. We didn't have the time, and the short amount we did spend in PvP was spent getting wrecked by people at higher levels than us. I believe there were some little exploits in the game, which allowed people to level up very fast, very early. We're talking on day 1. So the PvP we did attempt, we got wrecked. And can't say it was too enjoyable, but it is. Okay, food. Well, all right, certain foods are good for certain different things. So this meat, for example, will give me recovery and provides a weak ward against damage from corrupt type enemies. So when I was in the corruption zone, if I ate those delicious looking steaks, I would take less damage from the corrupted enemies. And I got that red meat from killing the wolf. So here I'm making delicious wolf steak. That does look pretty good. Medium rare. Perfect. And that's basically how the food works. Again, pretty much as you'd expect from your standard MMO, but new game is just fresh. Now there are 2 more crafting stations right over here. I don't know what this is or if it's going to be anything. It's some kind of blue flowing liquid. Maybe I should read the lore. It does nothing at the moment. Maybe in the future it will do something. It'll be good if I give some sort of life potion or something. As you can see by the symbol above there, arrows and guns. This is the... Okay, I'm looking at my gun, my musket there. Oh, by the way, that's a musket. I didn't get to use it too much. My points went mostly into strength because I was using melee. But I will be very interested in my next character to put all the points into dexterity, which what gives your range weapons a lot more kick. Definitely the next one. So this is the workshop. You can make bows and muskets here. Again, depending on your engineering level. The higher your engineering level means the more stuff you make here, the better items you get. The reason I was not using rifles was that making bullets was difficult to make. Some of the resources needed for that were tough to find at my level anyway. And stone cutting, remember we broke open that rock, that iron ore. This is sometimes gems pop out, so once you polish the gem, it will give you certain attributes. So here I am, there's 2 rough ones I'm going to craft. And obviously the higher your settings, I mean the higher your experience, the better you get. But at my level, what they did for me was give me a flawed aquamarine cut, which gave me +2 to dexterity. So if I had a slot in one of my muskets, I'd drop that in there to give a boost in DPS to my musket, but I did not. But as you can see on the pants there, I've got a flawed jasper here, I've got a flawed diamond, adding certain perks to my armor depending on my playstyle, and that is my attributes there, mostly into strength and constitution, which is your maximum health, because I'm playing more of a tank DPS type player. That's what I'm showing you there. Next playstyle, I'll definitely try dexterity and constitution probably. Curious to try the bows and the guns next time. Pretty good range. This is the Alchemist, one of the factions you can join. We at Test joined the Covenant. Right over there. Because yellow, obviously. Will we choose this in the final game? Probably, I don't know. I kind of like the faction armor from the Marauders. Look at this guy. Isn't he handsome? Kind of rugged. This is the faction we joined, just because yellow was the smallest faction on this particular server, so we felt we wanted to give them a bit of a hand. I'm not sure what they're going to do with factions to balance them when the game comes out, but it was highly unbalanced on this particular server. So as you see, the faction leader can give you both PvP and PvE missions. PvP pays off a lot better. Look at those faction points, 180 faction points, 270 faction points compared to 60 for PvE. You can definitely rank up a lot faster if you go for PvP. And once you have enough faction points, it opens up these kind of rewards for you. So you don't have to rely on a drop. You can simply grind away at faction tokens. In the top right, you see faction tokens. I've got 7,000 there, and you can put them towards buying whatever you want. For example, this beautiful yellow hammer called Earth Shaker. Now this is a level below me. I don't need that. Here's a higher tier 1 down there. But if you don't want to grind and just hope for random drops, you can simply grind for faction points and buy your weapons. I like that they give you that option, because simply grinding away at some boss hoping to get a drop can take a lot of time. This way, just grinding missions, knowing you get a certain payout, will allow you to buy a gun. For example, the Crack of Dawn, which is an epic musket, gear score 460 with an open slot versus the one I have, which is 342 standard. You can see the difference in damage that these two can make. So I think my strategy for the next time is definitely grind those faction points from the beginning. It'll save you the trouble of having to grind corruption zones in PvE, for example, and simply get the high tier weapons you want, specific weapons you want, as opposed to just waiting randomly for what you want to drop. I need 8,000 faction points and to be level 50 to get to this tier right here. I didn't get this far in the game, but it shows, look at that, 560 gear score. My current hatchet, 327. The one you saw me wrecking everything in the current corruption zone. So you definitely get very powerful gear, but there's also much higher leveled enemies. I found the leveling to be very fair. Some zones definitely want you to pair up or be in a group, which makes it much easier. Soloing a corruption zone like I did at higher levels will be extremely difficult. You get mobbed, so they definitely want and are encouraging you to play in groups. And obviously, as I showed you in PvP, you get a lot more XP and a lot more rewards versus playing alone. Town is not as busy as it was in the opening days. I think a lot of people leveled up to where they want to be and they stopped playing. Here's a map of the town itself. And zooming out, so that's where I was. Now the map is decently sized. I was in Windword, and those are the corrupted portals. You saw the one from the beginning. It shows you the level, recommended level, how many people. Here's a level 25 that recommends 5 people. At level 35, I can solo that, that's fine. First Light was the zone I started in right over there. People do get random starting zones, so you and your friend, even though you may join the same server, might end up in different areas on the map. Here's the yellow area, which is controlled by the faction we joined. It is the smallest faction on the server, which I thought would make for fun battles. Unfortunately, I didn't get leveled high enough to actually participate in anything too exciting, but I guess that's leaving more to do once the full game does come out. Now, there are some regions which are not out for us yet. Let's just scroll to the top. This top area here, I didn't even make it this high. I wasn't leveled high enough. I'd simply get wrecked by mobs on the way, but there is some good high level stuff there. There's an area here I never got to, but apparently this is where everyone went to level up by killing some mobs. I have to research that a bit next time, but apparently that's how everyone leveled up fast, by killing some mobs up there. And this region here is actually not on our map, but it does exist. It's simply closed off for us right now. I also believe there's a big area on the west side, which is simply not there at the moment, but will be coming available to us. I believe this entire map is going to be much bigger when the full game is released. So a decent sized map, and it's fun watching the chat scroll. People are saying how amazing it is when you go from one area to another. There's no loading screens. Again, those of you playing Star Citizen know very well how impressive that is in the beginning when you go from a planet to a moon with no loading screens. Same story here. Lumberyard does a wonderful job of handling large areas. Oh wait, I never showed you the smelter. Obviously, a smelter. When you played Skyrim, you know what that is, right? Remember how I broke down that iron ore rock? You come here, you make iron. You have wood, you can make an arrow. You have iron, wood, and leather, you can make yourself a piece of armor. And some rare materials like star metal ingot. That's a tier 4. Tier 5 is auricalcum ingot. I did not come across any of this yet in my time playing, but I did see some people wearing stuff. I don't know where they found it. But that leaves a lot more to do, obviously, for the full game, and the highest level gear, obviously tier 5, which will require those materials, which are extremely difficult to find, or at least they should be difficult to find. Well, let's get back outside here. Let me show you the sword. Now, this is actually the first weapon you start off with the game. Not this particular weapon, but this one actually dropped for me from a random corruption zone, and it was a very decently leveled weapon at the time. So you do get some good weapons. Now, it has void damage, which is why it glows kind of a very cool black and purple. So sword and board gives you very good defense and attack. If you're looking for a good combination, this is probably one of the more easy ones, and I guess very hard hitting one. This is the reverse backstab perk, and the leaping strike do a good amount of damage. If you can get a good sword like this in early gameplay, it's definitely worth putting perk points into that. Also, let's take a look at the bow. Now, I never got to use the bow too much because my points went into strength and not dexterity, which is meant for the ranged weapons. But here's how a bow works, and really, as you'd expect, you know, hold the right button to aim, left button click and shoots the arrow. Can I hit something here? Let's see, where's that? There was a boar or something in the distance. Now there is a bit of drop. Let me aim. I suck at this because I didn't practice enough. But even if I did practice, I'd still be terrible at it. But pretty much as you expect, not much of a learning curve, and there are perk points you can put into your arrow hitting harder, your arrow flying straighter even, and some delicious bacon for dinner right over there. Bacon. Again, harvest everything. You need the leather, you need the meat. There we go. Don't tell my rabbi. What else we got here? Oh, the fire staff. Alright. Now, I don't have any points into magic, but very handy at... Yeah, see, the intelligence is what you need for that. I did nothing for that, but very handy in just laying down damage on mobs. And when someone does kill them, you do get some points for that. So there was different kinds of... that's a flamethrower. Very wide area of effect type damage. And if you want to be a mage, you definitely need one of these. Here's kind of a fireball effect. So if the bad guys there, they'll just rain down fireballs on them. Very effective if you are a mage and you put points into that. It is quite deadly. And not my game style, but definitely saw a lot of people enjoying the mage play of this. And there you have it. So overall, look, there's a lot of people. There's a very loud... I want to say that's a loud minority who are very, very passionate about the PvP aspect of this game. And there's certain things they don't like. Now, I've read the comments. You know what? They're not wrong. There's a lot of great PvP potential here. It just needs to be finely tweaked. This is why the game is delayed, no doubt. There's a couple of things for balancing. For example, the hatchet, which I use the most, has a staggering effect. And once you get your first strike with the hatchet and your enemy is staggering, you keep on hacking away and you take them. So the balance isn't quite there yet. It needs a little bit of fine-tuning, but it's almost there. Overall, now for me personally, the game has a couple of little faults, nothing they cannot fix by next year, and loved it. I cannot wait to get back in there with a group of 30, 40, 50 people, dominate an area, own a town, own a region, get in there with PvP. It's going to add the end game of this is so promising. I didn't get much end game, I didn't get much PvP because of my low level, but there's a lot of potential here for some great end game content and great PvP content. Overall, if I had to rank this, 8.5 out of 10. This is just my personal opinion, not everyone has to agree, but I really enjoyed it, really looking forward to where this game is going. And Amazon Games, I think you got something here. Keep at it. Looking forward to see what they can do with it. Give me your thoughts. This has been a long video. Bye-bye. Give me your thoughts. What do you think of New World if you try it out? Post your comments below. If you enjoy my content, as always, give me a thumbs up and subscribe to this wonderful, wonderful channel. I'll catch you in the next one.